What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back with the Mariners post-game recap. Before I get started, as always, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you're lurking, just kind of watching, enjoy the videos, hitting that sub button helps me out a whole lot. You don't even know. And thank you to everybody that subscribed, to keep the comments coming. I love it. I love talking baseball with everybody. So thank you very much to everybody, as always, that continues to comment, like, and watch my videos. I truly, truly appreciate it. The Mariners win 5-1. They win the series against the Chicago White Sox here. And they get back to 500 before a day off and a road trip. I'll be honest, it's kind of funny. So the last 2 days, watched my video yesterday. Let me pull up the box score here. Is it zeroed out on me or went away on me? Nope, not game day. Not game day. Box score. There we go. Yesterday, my video was titled Worst Loss of the Season. And I stand by that. I think that was a really bad loss, and I detailed why. You guys know I don't get too emotional over these games. I try to stay, pretty even-keeled on this. But yesterday was just a really upsetting game. And today they bounce back and get a really nice W in a game where they were kind of shorthanded with the bullpen. And we saw how good Lance Lynn was. We'll get into all that. So, anyways, my point with this was, I always debated, do I do game nightly recaps or do I do a series recap? Because while, the series recap means you might miss out on some really good games to talk about, you get more of a broader sense of things. And I think we're all okay with this series. I think we're all okay with this homestand. They went 4-2. It's a good homestand. Miami's a pretty good team. The White Sox have been struggling, but they have been playing better and pitching really well as of late. So that's a solid homestand for this team. But yesterday's loss was just something about it. And you can go back and watch my video where I talked about it. But it was just such a frustrating game for this team yesterday, the way they lost it. And, you go yesterday, it felt like a season, like a loss. I'm done. Like, they just keep doing this. And then they bounce back, get a win today. So I've always debated, do I do a series recap or nightly recaps? I'm still going to do the nightly recaps because it just helps me vent any frustrations or talk about things I really want to talk about on a daily basis. So it's not going to change, but just that kind of roller coaster of emotion in baseball. I honestly think football is sometimes easier to recap because there's just one game a week. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to break down from each football game. In baseball, you're sometimes 10 hours away from the next game. I feel like I just made that video, how awful that loss was. And here we are now just, not even 24 hours later, and we're discussing a win in a nice series, win in a nice homestand. So, baseball, go figure. Now, listen, everything I said yesterday isn't going away. Like, that doesn't mean some of those frustrations aren't still there. We saw some things today that were frustrating for this team. They still need to start stringing wins together. I'm still a little frustrated to get the sweep in this series because they're going on a very hard road trip here to New York and Baltimore where you are okay with 3-3. I know you're going to say, Jay, no, they got to take advantage. But that's a tough road trip. Those are the road trips where you're okay coming out of it 500. You just don't want to bury yourself against good teams. But they are getting to a point where they're going to have to start winning some of those series. They can't just kind of play this, like they're 5-3 in the last 8. That's awesome. But they need like a 7-game winning streak, a 5-game winning streak, a sweep somewhere to kind of just get the juices back flowing a little bit instead of kind of that step forward, step back that they're doing. It's great to win series. Listen, win 2 out of every 3. I'm not going to complain, but eventually it's not going to happen. You're not going to win every series. So you got to find a way to get sweeps. So while I said what I said in the beginning of this video, it's also not saying that yesterday's videos just forget about it. A lot of those points still stand with this team. But it is nice to get a series win. Nice to go into the day off with a W. And hopefully, they can get something going on this road trip. I will say this, and I did say it yesterday, if you can hang around 500, you may not be in it, but at least you're in position where you are a 6-7 game winning streak away from making a statement and maybe being in a playoff position. Houston was swept by Cincinnati. That's really big. This team, I think, is now just 3 back in the wild card. So despite everything, they're actually, right in the mix of this here. And, do I think they're going to win all 6 on this road trip? No. But, the San Francisco Giants just won 3 in St. Louis and are about to sweep the Dodgers. It is possible. So it leaves that possibility there. You start burying yourself 5, 6, 7 games under, And all that 6-7 game winning streak does then is just get you to where they are now. They're still in it. They are. And I hope you guys know what I'm saying with that. Like, if you hover around 500, you can make that run. You are that winning streak away. And it's nothing crazy. We're not talking about 14 game winning streaks. I'm talking about 5, 6, 7 game winning streaks. Most teams have one of those in a season. The A's just had one. The Reds have won 8 in a row. They're actually playing pretty decent ball. But it's not crazy. Like the Pirates had a stretch where they went 20-8 this year. So they are that stretch away from being that wild card team. So don't give up the faith yet. The frustrations still remain with this team that happened yesterday, but they are doing just enough to hang around. So let's dive into this game. Great outing from Bryce Miller, and absolutely needed. One of my concerns coming into this game today was how thin the bullpen was going to be. I didn't think Matt Brash was going to be available, and it looks like that was correct. I did not think Andres Munoz was going to be available. Pretty sure that was correct. I didn't know if Paul Sewald would be available. It looks like he would have been, but I think that's only because of the off day tomorrow. I think had they had a game tomorrow, I think even Sewald wouldn't have been available. So, if Miller's struggling or just throwing a lot of pitches and only goes 4 or 5 innings or something here, you're looking at needing, Ty Adcock, Chris Flexen, guys like those to get you really important outs in clutch situations. So great job by Bryce to go 7 innings, only get the 4 hits, 1 run that was earned, no walks, 6 strikeouts. After a rough stretch for Bryce, it really wasn't even a rough stretch. The Yankees and Rangers just hit him hard. He has bounced back nicely on this homestand, winning both of his starts. Him and Brian Wu, both fantastic in this series, in the games they pitched. So really good to see from Bryce Miller. And the run he gave up in the 6th, Elvis Andrus had a leadoff double, and then right away Benintendi singled him in. And it looked like, here we go. You got to be careful because now you've got, Remillard, who killed them yesterday, and Robert and Jimenez coming up right behind him. So it looked like that's where it could have gotten away from Bryce. But he did a real nice job to limit the damage there to just that 1 run. So great outing from Bryce Miller. Bullpen did its job. Topa with a real solid 8th inning, pitched with that 1-run lead. And then Ty Adcock did a nice job coming on the 9th. At that point, the Mariners got the lead to 4 runs, so it wasn't as much of a high leverage spot, but still a good job by him to get through that inning so he didn't have to go to Paul Sewald. You get a couple runners on there with no outs and stuff like that, and Paul's back to warming up and maybe having to come in. So nice job by Adcock to get through that inning. Oh boy, the offense today. Really, really an odd game. They scored 5 runs. I'll take it. Like they, at the end of the day, they certainly did enough. You would have told me they scored 5 before this game, I probably would have told you they win. So they certainly did some things well offensively. They struck out a lot. Lance Lynn for the White Sox was tremendous. He went 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs all earned, 2 walks, and 16 strikeouts for Lance Lynn, who entered today. It's not like Lynn's underlying numbers were much better than his regular numbers. His ERA was 6.75. His FIP was 5.43. His expected ERA was 5.44. His xFIP was like 4.3, which isn't great, but certainly better. So Lance Lynn had been struggling, and he mowed down the Mariners. Now, I will always give credit. Like, you can't strike out 16 in a game without having some good stuff. I don't care what your career numbers are, what the offense is. That's a good outing. That is solid. So kudos to Lance Lynn for that. He pitched really well. But the Mariners just continuing to not knock starters out and struggle there. And I'll be honest with you guys. I know a lot of people brought up the strikeouts, and this team strikes out a lot. I'm going to say some of you guys are going to go, whoa. I don't really care. The strikeouts don't bother me. Strikeouts are outs. In fact, sometimes the strikeouts make pitchers throw more pitches. It's not the worst thing in the world. Now, you want your pitchers to strike guys out because strikeouts show more dominance than giving up 400-foot, outs every time. But we knew the Mariners were going to strike out. They have strikeout hitters. They have walk hitters, strikeout hitters, and home run hitters. It's kind of, with some of these guys, outside of maybe Caballero and what you expected from Colton Wong, and maybe Ty France a little bit, it's a kind of a 3 true outcomes offense. So the strikeouts don't bother me, but they bother me in the sense of they're outs. Like, I don't really care how you make outs. Outs are bad. Whether it's grounding one into the dirt for a double play or striking out, it's still an out. Now, if you're hitting a bunch of 400-foot bombs or being caught, that's a little different. But, and the Mariners have had their share of those as well. But that doesn't bother me. Just Lance Lynn has not been good, no matter what, whether it's from lack of strikeouts, lack of whatever the case may be. Lance Lynn has not been a very good pitcher this year, and he pitched very well against the Mariners, and the Mariners struggled against him. And listen, White Sox fan come on here and say, well, then Bryce Miller shouldn't get credit because the White Sox offense hasn't been very good, and that's obviously true. So it always goes both ways, but. A disappointing outing from the Mariners offense, not because of so many strikeouts, but just because they could not get anything going against the pitchers not been very good. Now, luckily, Reynaldo Lopez came in after Lynn went 7. Lynn threw 114 pitches, and the Mariners were able to walk the bases loaded. It was, let's see, Colton Wong laid down a nice bunt to begin the ninth, got on base. JP and Julio made outs. Ty walk, Teo walk, and Jared Kelenic with a bases-clearing triple in the bottom of the 8th inning, busted open for a 5-1 game. That was a nice inning. There's kind of that outcomes for the Mariners. You got guys. Teo's not a big guy not a guy that walks a lot, but he did there. So you get these guys that they work the bases loaded, and then Kelenic just kind of goes with a pitch that's a little outside and pokes it into the gap there for a triple. The other 2 runs the Mariners got, it was a JP walk, and then, I think Cal led off with a single. JP walked, and Julio put a kind of that classic Julio hit into the right center field gap for 2 runs. That's kind of the Mariners' MO. So it's kind of a weird offensive game where it was frustrating that they couldn't get things going against Lance Lynn, but they kind of did their thing, just missing a long ball in there somewhere, a Julio double to score a couple runs. The Mariners walking the bases loaded essentially, and then putting one into the gap. That's kind of their MO. So it's easy to be frustrated with them, and there were definitely some frustrating moments, but they also kind of did okay. They got 5 runs out of this. So I don't really know what to think of the offense today. I kind of had it. I had kind of a good rant going when there was 2-1, but then Kelenic clears them. And you can say, well, it wasn't until the bottom of the 8th, Jay, but all the innings count. Like, I can't take that away just because it was late in the game. It still counts as runs. We'll take 3 runs in every bottom of the 8th. So, taking a deep breath there. I feel like it went on for a little bit there. But, not an impressive offensive performance maybe, but enough. And beggars can't be choosers. And if they would have done this yesterday, they would have won. And they would have swept this series, and we'd be sitting here at 36-34. Feeling pretty good about coming off a sweep and a 5-1 homestand. Now we can still feel pretty good. It was 4-2, but this is kind of the offense performance we need. We know the pitching's good. You're relying on a lot of young guys. We know that with Miller and Wu. They're going to have moments, but we know Castillo, Gilbert. Gilbert wasn't great yesterday, but he did limit the damage. We know Kirby's good. And like I said, we know Miller and Wu clearly have the stuff. These guys are going to pitch well. The offense doesn't have to be the 27 Yankees. They just got to find a way to get games like this where maybe you are getting dominated, but you squeak out those last few runs. Looking at the box score, JP was 0 for 3 with a walk. Julio 1 for 3 with a double and a walk and 2 RBIs. Good for Julio. Classic kind of Julio hit that we saw last year, just a scorcher into that right center field gap. Ty was 0 for 3 with a walk. Teo 0 for 3 with a walk. Kelenic 1 for 4 of those 3 RBIs. Good for Jared Kelenic, been scuffling a little bit. Kelenic's kind of done this where he has cooled off. Obviously, his April was not sustainable. I mean, if it was, Jared Kelenic would be the best baseball player on the planet. But he's gotten just kind of enough. He gets those couple walks. He gets that base knock. The triple today where he just has enough to kind of keep himself productive. You know what I mean? So, and listen, was Kelenic's April obviously probably an overachievement? Of course, overachievement for Shohei Ohtani. And he has cooled off in May and June. But the overall numbers are still good. If you would have told me on June 19th, 18th, that Jared Kelenic has an 806 OPS, I would have said, yeah, I'll take that any day of the week. With a good defensive player, a good base runner with an 806 OPS, absolutely. Now, again, well, it's just because the hot April. I mean, April counts. I mean, if we're going to take away Jared Kelenic's hot April, then we get to go to every single player in baseball and take away their hottest month. Just remember, when you say that, I get it. I get that he was carried by a hot April, and he has not been as good in May and June. But April counts. You don't get to take that away from him, okay? So just be careful. I've seen a couple people kind of saying that in Twitter, and, if that's the case, then we get to go to every player in baseball and take away their best month. Guess what? They'd all look a lot worse if you took away their best months. Baseball has streaky players in it. So, and Kelenic's done enough to keep himself treading water and still be a good player. Gino was 0 for 4. Cal was 2 for 3. Couple base hits. Good to see. Want to see Cal get going. 4 0 for 3. Colton Wong 1 for 3. The bunt single. I'll take it. I do not know how much longer Colton Wong has it in this roster. I'm truly surprised he's still there. With Caballero getting the bulk of the playing time. I get Wong starting today. Caballero had a bad at-bat in that extra inning game yesterday, a 3-1 pitch that was kind of a cookie pitch that he missed. I don't have a problem with Colton Wong being in there today. At this point, though, I just think Sam Haggerty gives you more than Colton Wong. You can use him as a pinch runner. You can use him on the base pass. You can use his versatility as a defensive replacement. I know Wong is a left-handed bat. That's kind of nice to have with Caballero. But again, Wong is not hitting righties. Good for him with the bunt single. He actually had a really nice defensive play, too. The ball kind of went off Bryce Miller. I forgot what inning it was in. And Wong kind of readjusted himself and made a play. Listen, that's not saving it, but I want to give compliments when they're due. Wong started the rally in the 8th, and he made a nice defensive play. Like, good. Like, I'll take it. You know what I mean? And when guys do good, they deserve praise regardless of how they've been this year. If we can get something out of Colton Wong, that would be huge. That would be huge. I just don't know how much longer he's going to be on this roster. And like I said, I'm kind of surprised he's still there. That's all I've got for today. The Mariners win the series. It was a good homestand, 4-2. Definitely had a chance to be a little better. Yesterday was frustrating, but one of the reasons I was also frustrated is I had some doubts about today, and they bounced back and did get the W. So that's really good to see. And hopefully some of this momentum can carry on into the Yankees series. I have an announcement to make. I should have said at the beginning of the video to stay tuned for announcements. So maybe I'll make it in a short or another video as well about the channel. Nothing changing, still doing it. But there's going to be more live streams. I'm going to be going live more. My goal is 3 times a week, whether that's solo, whether that's rooftop, whether it's with any other Mariners YouTube channel that wants to get involved. Message me, DM me, or on Twitter or whatever. Let me know if you want to do a live stream together. As long as you have a channel or, of some kind, or I know you're not going to come on and just start, being weird or something like that for 3 hours. We'll make it work. So yeah, I'm going to be doing 3 live streams a week, trying to. There's going to be weeks that can't happen, but that's my goal. My goal is actually, I'll just say it here, and I'll make another video later. My goal is Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays to have a live stream. Now, a lot of times Mondays and Thursdays are off days for the teams. So like this week, I should be live Tuesday for the Yankee game. And then I'm going to try, then there's, I think no game Thursday. No, there's a game Thursday. I'm going to try to do Thursday and Friday. Wednesdays and Sundays are really hard for me. Can't do those. And then Saturdays just, Saturdays are kind of hard too to do a live stream. So my goal is Monday, Thursdays, Fridays. If there's not a game Monday, it's going to be to try and do it Tuesday. Like I have a vacation late July we're taking, my wife and I, so I'm not going to be live for that Friday game against the Blue Jays. It's going to be July 21st. So obviously there's going to be some games that, again, I just can't get to, but that is my goal. So I will see you guys all later. Enjoy what's left of your weekend. Mariners get 2 out of 3 from the White Sox and finish up a pretty good homestand. Hopefully they can just get it going. Come on, guys. Get me a winning streak here and get going. I will see you guys. I'll probably see you tonight or tomorrow with something. We'll have something going on. And then Tuesday for the Yankee series. Hope everybody has a great night. And as always, go Mariners. Peace.